Hello, Cancer. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me for your October 2023 Tarotscope. It is an absolute pleasure and such a blessing to be here with you. So thank you very, very much for being here with me. In the description box below, you will find links to all sorts of goodies, including my social media, information on personal readings, and donations if you would like to explore those options. There will also be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest behind. October does happen to be a universal 8 month, and this is an energy of renewal. It's reminding us that all things in life are connected to the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. We're being encouraged to focus on universal connectedness and collective humanity. It's also bringing forward for us self-empowerment, right? That's pulling us towards expansion, growth, and divine compassion. So this is what we're going to be looking into a bit this month, taking a peek at your overall energy, what is coming to an end for you, what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for you this month, and getting some wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution. So Cancer, let's take a look at what's coming in for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves. What is the overall energy of October 2023 for Cancer, please? Okay. Being called to take those. What is coming to an end for Cancer this October, please? What is coming to an end this October for Cancer? Thank you. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Cancer this October 2023, please? Thank you. What wisdom, okay, will best support your healing, growth, and evolution? Right? Tell us more, please, about the overall energy of October 2023 for Cancer. Tell us more, please, about the overall energy for Cancer. Actually, I'm being called to take all of those. Tell us more, please, about what is coming to an end for Cancer. Yep, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning. Oh, okay. Got lots of chattiness going on. Tell us more about the wisdom that will best support Cancer's healing, growth, and evolution. Thank you. How would we like to? Thank you. More, please, on the overall energy for Cancer for October 2023. Okay, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what is coming to an end. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Cancer this month. What is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning? Thank you very much. And tell us more about the wisdom that will... Okay, thank you. Anything else we need to know or may have missed in the overall energy for Cancer, October 2023? Thank you. Anything we need to know or may have missed in regards to what is coming to an end? Thank you very much. Anything we need to know or may have missed about what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for Cancer, please? Anything we need to know or may have missed for Cancer. Okay. Nope. We're going to do that again. That's way too many. Nice, clear message, please. What is being rebirthed, renewed? Thank you. Anything we may have missed or need to know. All right, the wisdom for you. Okay. Cancer. There are stacks on stacks here, so let's dive in. The overall energy for you this month, you do have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. Okay, so this is quite fascinating because I feel like for some of you, you are recognizing your, how do I say this? It's recognizing the fact that you are not just a physical person, that you are also a soul. 5:55 on the clock. Fives are about movement and conflict. Okay, so I do feel like there could be some, let's say, instability around this realization that may be taking place, or this awakening that may be taking place, because I do feel like there are those of you who, or rather there are some of you who are, again, realizing that you are not just a physical person, that you are also a soul, which means that it's not just about whatever it is you are creating in this life as a physical person, right? So it's not just about the family you have, it's not just about the job you have or where you live. Like, you know, it doesn't just stop there, right? There's far more to you. There are these aspects of you, the soul side of yourself, which also has, let's say, a job to do, which also has certain callings. Okay, so and here's what's fascinating is I don't feel that you are, or maybe have been, completely oblivious to this. I feel like for some of you, you may have already known that. However, I feel like there's a difference between being a, like knowing it, hearing it in passing or what have you, and really feeling it. Okay, and I feel as though for some of you, this is what's happening. The overall energy is saying to me that this month you may find yourself like really feeling it, like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, and for some of you, this may be showing up because the physical world things are becoming less and less fulfilling. And I want to say the surface level, not to say that you don't care about these things very deeply or that they aren't meaningful in some way, shape, or form to you, but it feels very physical world, very surface level, and it feels to me that it's not fulfilling. It's not as fulfilling as maybe it once was. And again, I'm not saying that maybe you don't like these things or enjoy them, or, you know, I'm not saying you don't enjoy your family or your job or your home, or that you are like, you know, miserable. Okay, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's just not enough. Okay, it's just not enough. And I feel like this is being brought upward to you, or for some of you. Yeah, you do have here the ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. And here's the thing, I do feel like you're being cracked open. I do feel like, again, there are these realizations that are happening. And for some of you, it may feel a bit like tower moment-ish. It may feel like, you know, there are like things may be cracking. And I'm not saying that like your family's falling apart or your job or anything like that. But how do I say this? Again, it is very much like some of the things that you once found fulfilling or pleasing or enough just aren't. Okay. And so it feels like for some of you, that may be very confusing. It may be very overwhelming. You may not understand. You may be like, what the hell is going on? Okay. But I feel like there's this energy coming up of like, this is happening to crack you open to the truth. Okay. To really bring to the forefront, to your focus, that you are not just this physical body. Okay. And some of the things that you may have been previously aligned to, enjoyed, or what have you, aren't from, how do I say, it's part of that physical self of you. It's not that, it's not deeply ingrained into your soul. It's things that you've taken on as a physical body without the remembrance of your soul self. And so, again, it feels like this beautiful unfolding where you are learning about these sides of yourself. And again, what's very interesting is that for some of you, that may be a little bit traumatic in some sense. It may be very confusing. It may be, a bit overwhelming. You may be asking yourself, like, why is this happening? What is going on? And you may not even be sharing this with anyone else. It's very interesting because I feel like for some of you, this is something that you are keeping close to your own heart, because I feel like you want to like figure it out before you maybe bring anybody else into it. Perhaps you feel as though you won't have support in that, or other people won't understand. Quite fascinating. But I do feel like, again, this is happening for you. It's to connect you with your truth. It's to align you with who you truly are at, like I was saying, a soul level, your soul's true essence. It's to take you deeper, to fulfill you, right? Because it's like we can be on this planet and we can live this very human life, this very physical or material or dense life. But ultimately, it doesn't matter how hard you stay in that space, you are ultimately going to find yourself always coming back to wanting more. Okay? You cannot avoid what your soul has deep within, right? You can't run from it. I mean, you can, but it's going to be there. It's going to always linger there. And I feel like for some of you, you may have tried to kind of like, this is all a bunch of woo-woo, or maybe it just feels very kind of otherworldly to you. And so even though you may find yourself dabbling in it a bit, or believing in it a bit, or, exploring it a bit, or being open to certain aspects, it feels like you've almost put it aside because it's too otherworldly. Almost as if applying that in this world doesn't make sense or something. That's funny. You also have here, trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Like I said, it feels like you may feel like you wouldn't have the support. People wouldn't understand. It wouldn't make sense. Something like that. And here is the overall energy, it coming up in, like, to confirm that, pardon me. Right, because I do feel that there is this feeling that pursuing that more, let's say, spiritual or soul led path, from a very physical perspective, makes zero sense. It may even seem illogical. Okay. And I feel like for some of you, you may have even found yourself looking at people who have just kind of, we'll say, for sake of conversation, or for sake of explaining this, you may have seen people who have like thrown caution to the wind and just have aligned with that to the best of their ability, right? That deeper calling. And to you may be seeing it like I can see it, and maybe you can even to some degree appreciate it, but I feel like you're like, there's no, like it just doesn't make sense though. It's illogical. But again, here's the overall energy is speaking to you, trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? If you knew that, let's say, your family, your friends, your community, your whatever would support you in this deeper, let's say, exploration of yourself and following that path. If you knew that there would be nothing holding you back, what would you do with that? Yeah, you guys, you cannot make this up. Answer the call. If you knew what, or excuse me, If you knew you'd be supported. That's so fascinating because I was literally looking at this card, but like reading this over here or repeating this over here. So I'm just going to kind of back up for a minute, right? Because answer the call. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Because I feel like there is this calling for deeper. And even in these cards, every single one of them has water, or what appears to be some form of water, right? Like you can see there's like the earth, or what appears to be the earth, or what looks maybe like water. Here, it's down here at the bottom. There's water there. And there's water here, right? And now there's water here. So for me, that is, it's saying that there is this call for deeper, for more, right? And so again, it's like there's a feeling of not of perhaps like I can't do that because I can't, like it doesn't make sense, or someone else is not going to understand it or support me. Okay, so I feel here again, the overall energy for you is calling you to take that deeper step, to align with what is more fulfilling to you. And I feel like this will be stirring, or could be for you, for some of you, stirring very deeply this month. Really, I feel like it feels almost like a magnet, like it keeps pulling to you, and you may be trying to keep like backing up from it a little bit. But I feel like it's harder to ignore because I feel like it's coming to the surface. But it says here, what is your soul calling you to do? So certainly, the overall energy is speaking to this deeper connection to your soul and what your soul is calling to you, what your soul wants, what your true desires are from a soul level. And that doesn't always look the way that we might envision it. It doesn't always look the way we might expect, because we have been living from a very physical or material perspective. And I don't mean material in the sense of like things, though that may apply as well. I mean it from a very physical world perspective. From a very, this is what society expects. This is what I've been told is right. This is what I've been told I should do, the type of thing. Okay. You have the Magician in the reverse. That's fascinating. Because here's the thing, right? The overall energy here is I feel that there's this question of, okay, so this may sound very, I don't know, woo or something, but here's the thing. The Magician can be this energy of illusion and being out of touch with reality. And it's really a fascinating thing because, from what we've been programmed and what we've been taught as we've grown up is like, this is reality, right? This physical world, our physical body, like this is reality. But there is a deeper level to that. It is not just simply this physical body. It is not just simply this physical plane. There is far more true that is true than that. And many of us have been living in this illusion, okay, that we are, let's say, powerless, that we are just, these little people, right? And so with the Magician in reverse here, I feel like the overall energy is bringing to your attention these illusions. It is bringing to your attention that reality has a very different view, if you will, or is very different than what you may have been believing. There is a deeper wisdom that you hold within, a deeper truth that you hold within. And I do feel like, so another thing is the Magician in reverse can be this energy of deceit. And it feels like this deceit of self, believing something that isn't fully the truth. And I feel like that may be showing up for you, right? Again, a lot of what has been coming through here has been very much about things are much different than what you may have initially believed or perceived to be true, because it's not just what you see with your physical eyes. There is so much more than that. We are so much more layered than that. Okay. We also, wow, the Hermit as well. This is seeking the truth. And I do feel like to some degree or another, that you have been, right? There has, I feel like to some degree or another, that illusion, is kind of falling, is cracking, let's say. Right? So every once in a while, it feels like you get glimpses of the light through the cracks of the illusion. Ooh, my voice is doing this weird thing. Yeah, but I feel like there's something there about not speaking that truth to yourself, or not acknowledging that to yourself. Yeah. It feels very much like holding that in, okay? Because I feel like, how do I say it? It's fleeting. Yes, fleeting. And I feel like there's that deeper side of yourself that is seeking truth, that wants truth. And I feel like with the truth comes that fulfillment, because let's be honest, illusions are only fulfilling for so long, because it is just that. It's not true, right? It is an illusion. It's fake. It's, you know. So I feel that this month, the overall energy here is certainly exposing those illusions to you, and may have you on this path of seeking truth, not just about about reality itself, but about you as a soul in a human body. You may find yourself in a space of contemplation or reflection, seeking insight, seeking awareness, seeking truth, seeking knowledge and wisdom and illumination, and manners that maybe you have not yet explored. And I feel like I feel like some of you have been exposed to some of this on some level, right? But I feel now there's this call, there's this deep pulling to explore this more. Holy biscuits and gravy, High Priestess. Yeah. Again, that is that. I mean, first of all, you have 3 major arcana out here. Okay. This is essentially your, or what is hidden or secret about yourself. This is the journey of your discovery, the uncovering of your truth. Okay. Essentially is what arcana is. And the major arcana is about self. So with the Magician, the Hermit, and the High Priestess, this says to me like you're going through like some big things, some massive growth, some massive revelations, some deeper understandings. Like the journey is like in full motion for you. And with the High Priestess, again, right, we go from the Magician, the number 1, which is a new beginning or opportunity or potential, to the Hermit, which is seeking that truth, deepening, if you will, that insight, that awareness of self. Again, truth, it is contemplating or reflecting very deeply. Okay. The Hermit is the archetype of the wise man. And so it's like taking the journey to find that truth, right? And here with the High Priestess, this is an energy of essentially that inner voice, your intuition, that divine truth or wisdom. Okay, it's inner growth. And certainly I feel that, the universe, God, source is putting you in a position to really ignite that, to bring forth this wisdom. I mean, both the Hermit and the High Priestess and the Magician are all energies of wisdom. Because I feel what's unknown here to you is that you have or hold within you far more wisdom and knowledge and skill and understanding than maybe you have explored or have given yourself credit for, or have even allowed yourself to acknowledge. Okay. For some of you, it may just be like you're like, okay, like sometimes I'm a little bit empathic or a little bit intuitive, but I can pick up on certain things. But I feel like it's far more than just that. There's something far deeper here. And again, this for me is bringing through this overall energy for the month for you of really connecting to that divine truth within you. You also, damn, you also have the Fool here in the reverse. And here's the thing, this is the energy of, for me right now, it's coming through as like, I'm afraid to take that leap. Like, again, I feel like there are things that you know. There are things that have called to you. There are things that, you know, you've pondered upon or wondered about, or maybe wanted to delve into, or wanted to commit time to or energy to. But there's an aspect here of fear, of being afraid to take that leap. Maybe you're worried about how you may be perceived should you do that. Maybe you're worried that some would call you a fool or naive or whatever, right? But it's like there's a cycle here that's trying to begin, trying to like take off. But it starts with you giving yourself permission, right? This is, I feel like for some of you, like this is the how would I say? For some of you, it feels like this is the beginning in some sense. I'm not saying you're like, some of you may have been exposed to some of this already. But I feel like for some of you, there's the beginning of a spiritual journey on a whole new level than anything you've ever contemplated, anything you've ever allowed yourself to again explore to any serious degree, or any intentional level, we'll say. And I feel like part of that is because you can't ignore that calling for truth. You can't ignore what your intuition speaks. You can't ignore the signs. You can't ignore these things. And it keeps pulling on you and pulling on you and pulling on you. But there's this aspect of you that I feel is afraid to take that leap. And so the energy for you this month is encouraging that. It's encouraging this journey of truth, of spirituality, of deeper meaning and connection to things that are more esoteric, than maybe you've ever explored before. It's so fascinating. I feel like some of you, again, may be awakening to who you truly like the truth. Again, I can't say it enough. Yep. You also have serious star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. So again, the overall energy is encouraging you to dive, to take that leap, to push through the fear, to be seen, to allow yourself to explore. Okay, it's almost like, I feel like, which I don't know that I've ever actually shared this in this way for this card, but it does feel like, it's almost like the universe is giving you its blessing to go deeper with this, to, stop dancing around the edge of the pool and dive in. Because I feel like there's so much here available to you, to gain from this. And it's not just, oftentimes we look at this from a very like kind of woo perspective, and the truth is it's so much more than that. So much more than that. Because once you dive into this, you start to uncover and start to uncover your truth and start to connect with your soul's true essence. There is this uncovering of power, there's this uncovering of wisdom, there's this uncovering of skill, there's this there it really does take your perspective of yourself and the world you live in to an entirely new level, and can really, really change your world for the better. You also have kindness. You are a humanitarian made of love, and you are able to share that energy with others. I think it's interesting because you have this uplifting of humanity energy with this kindness. So for some of you, that whatever this calling is for you may be more focused on that. How would I say? Maybe more focused on acts of service or being of service to humanity. And for some of you, this is a calling that you have, right? So again, oftentimes we look at delving into the depths of our soul and our truth as very woo, okay? But it's deeper than that, because oftentimes those callings that we have, those spaces where we are more inclined, let's say, to be of service, oftentimes it's not as mystical and woo as one may think. Certainly there are those who, let's say, channel or read tarot or energy, or consider themselves healers from a very kind of mystical sense. However, there are those as well who are or can be of service to humanity through very kind of human type things, if you will. You have people that are like in the medical field who are helpful to humanity in that way, or are of service to humanity in that way through acts of kindness. There are those who are, more like teachers, if you will, and are of service to humanity through not the gift of knowledge. So this can manifest in a lot of different ways depending on your own journey, your own soul. But I feel like for in a lot of cases, it takes us kind of hitting that rock bottom or being cracked open to our soul truth in order to really, really uncover what that is for us. Like really, really. Because for example, you might have someone who, let's say, starts in the medical field as, let's say a SENA or a nurse or something. And maybe, that's a good way to get going, let's say, but then ultimately find themselves, in the Peace Corps, or in foreign countries, or lesser developed countries, let's say, and they're assisting there. So I'm not saying that that's your story. I'm just giving it as an example so you can kind of create this mental picture, right? And I just feel like, again, maybe whatever you're doing now isn't necessarily something that you dislike, but it just feels like there's something more, okay? And it likely, I wouldn't be surprised, Cancer, has something to do with your very compassionate, very nurturing, very supportive, very loving nature, right? Because you are a very kind sign. You are very caring at your best. You are very nurturing. And I feel as though it wouldn't surprise me that being of service to humanity in some kind of way does have something to do with your calling or what your soul desires. I just feel like that it's likely or very possible that it's deeper than what you are doing currently. And for some of you, maybe it is that you seriously can channel. Okay? Though not everyone will resonate with that. So what is coming to an end for you, Capricorn? Okay. I don't know why that just fell out of my mouth. For some of you, you may be dealing with a Capricorn, and there may be something there with a Capricorn that's coming to an end. Also, I don't know why, but this is very interesting to me. I'm also getting this energy of, so Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And that is an energy that's very structured, right? Very much about obligation and responsibility. Very, again, I'm getting like very, very structured. Often it can be even rigid. And I feel like what's coming to an end is, I'm just going to be honest, for some of you, if you're not dealing with a Capricorn specifically, there are some of you, I feel what may be coming to an end is that kind of like restriction, that structure, that obligation to things that maybe aren't as meaningful to you that as they once were. I mean, come on now, you have, like I said, here's the thing. You have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So isn't it fascinating that I felt like, Capricorn falling out of my mouth just a moment ago, that what's coming to an end or could be coming to an end for you, Cancer, is this kind of restriction or obligation or responsibility or some kind of structure. I mean, nothing comes from nothing. And here's the thing with this Unbound, I mean, even if you look at it, I said, what, like limitations? Look at, they're literally bound. And I feel like this is what's coming to an end for you. I feel as though there are certain patterns and, what some might call contracts and karmas or past life things or cycles that are coming to an end, that you are freeing yourself from. And for some of you, because here's the thing, Capricorn is represented in the tarot by the Devil card, which is very much about materialism, very much about the physical, very much about the ego. I definitely feel like what is coming to an end again is that more kind of very physical, very material world perspective or like, it being fulfilling, because this is Unbound, right? This is freeing you from that, I feel, for some of you. And for others of you, it is literally, or maybe not literally, but it is showing up as this message of freeing you from these restrictions, these limitations that you may have put upon yourself or allowed others to put upon you and have been cyclically playing out over and over and over. But I feel like for some of you, there's always something deeper calling you, or at least of late. There's something deeper that calls to you, and maybe you aren't even sure what that is. Maybe you haven't been sure about it. Maybe you have. I mean, for some of you, it hasn't been a secret, in the sense that, it's not just you're oblivious to it. Like there have been lots of clues. Okay. But I feel like what's coming to an end is this restriction. Is this, again, maybe the structure of that, kind of more physical or material world. Because I do feel like it's put limitations. I do, because I feel like there's been some fears, which is coming up now, funny enough. There's been some fears around exploring the more, let's say, esoteric or the more spiritual aspects of things. And again, maybe you've dabbled in it here and there. Shoot, maybe you read a horoscope, you get tarot. I'm not saying that you're completely like anti-spiritual. I just feel like it's more of like playing around on the beach instead of jumping in the water type of thing. What's coming to an end? The Lovers in the reverse, which is very much about this disharmony, or it's an energy of indecision or conflict. Okay, for some of you, this actually could be, because you have soul patterns, contracts, and past lives, there actually could be relationships coming to an end. And the fact of the matter is they're simply ones that don't support you. Okay, this could be families, friends, lovers, of course. You name it, it's there. But for others of you, I feel like your beliefs, your personal beliefs, your values are being challenged, or rather are coming to this like inevitable end. I also feel like for some of you, like the literal indecision of I have all these things, I have this that's been calling to me, and I've just kind of been sitting on the fence about it. For some of you, like that is literally like it's coming to an end. Okay, like it's like I'm no longer just gonna sit on the fence. Like I'm actually gonna make a choice, regardless of what that might bring about. Because I feel like you're for some of you, the beliefs you once held, or the values perhaps you once held, are changing. They're coming to an end. You're seeing things from a different perspective. Let's see what else you have here. There's lots of cards. Woohoo, the Emperor. Gosh, you have all major arcana right now. Like this month for you could be like holy biscuits and gravy. You could walk out of it looking and feeling completely different. You do have the Emperor here. Here's the thing about the Emperor. What was I talking about with the Unbound and that Capricorn energy that was coming through, right? There's that energy of like structure and responsibility and limitations. And here's the thing, the emperor in the reverse is an energy of, for in some cases, of like tyranny, of power and domination. Okay, this like rigid and uncompromising authority. And I mean, it can also be like one of anger and chaos. But here's the thing. I feel like what's coming to an end is that which has had power over you that you have been sitting on the fence about. This could be a relationship. It doesn't have to be. It can be about certain belief systems or values that you've taken on, but it certainly is something that has been restricting you, holding power over you, or dominating over you, that you have previously been unable to move forward from. And I feel like whatever this is for you, which it could be a multitude of things depending on where you are in your journey and your experiences, is coming to an end. This month for you, based on just the tarot alone, is speaking to me about a lot of shifts, a lot of growth, a lot of truths coming forward. And that can have, in some cases, or rather, how would I say, can have this, let's say, side effect of things coming to an end. Things that you may have never even considered. You have here, star being healing codes, important information, wounds are healed, recharging. I do feel like for some of you, right, we do have releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives, or what has been very cyclic or maybe even karmic, wounds, traumas, programming, you know, certain things that you may be holding on to. And I feel like what's coming to an end here is that these things are being healed within you. Some of those things may have been preventing you from moving forward because you've been clinging to, you know, again, trauma, wounding, and it takes up space within your energetic field. It takes up, you know, it doesn't allow for new things to come in when you're clinging to other things. And I do feel like for some of you this month, what's coming to an end is that thing you've been clinging to, because for some of you, you are seeking truth, right? Not just any truth, but divine truth. You are seeking truth and divine truth, both. And I feel like with that seeking of that, with that curiosity, with that need for more, you uncover important information, important to your story, important to your truth. And with that information, I feel like wounds are healed, which is why I feel like what's coming to an end here are some of these things that have held power over you. Or rather, like how these things no longer may have power over you is because this information does bring the ability to heal certain wounds that have been limiting you, holding you back, right? Okay, because let's say, for example, whatever it is you've experienced has created within you, you know, maybe it's doubt, maybe it's judgment, maybe it's blame, maybe it's sorrow, maybe it's bitterness, maybe it's guilt, maybe it's shame, maybe it is hatred, maybe it is failure, grief, insecurity, whatever it is. Okay, it takes up space, and it does have power over you, whether you choose to acknowledge that or not. It does. And once we understand something from a different perspective, where we aren't looking at situations, experiences, people with just from just the perspective of our pain, when we learn something new and we're able to rise above the situation as a whole and to look at it from a different perspective, once that information comes in, which allows us to do that or encourages us to do that, there are cases where we're able to free ourselves from it, which creates space for something else, right? So it certainly feels like they're, I mean, and you have a lot of cards here, Cancer. So there's a lot that is becoming available to you. You have here third eye activation, brow chakra, inner vision, clear seeing. Again, what's coming to an end? I feel like what's coming to an end here is that confusion, the illusion, right? With the magician in the reverse, the illusion, the fear. I feel like you are, again, gaining this important information, and it is allowing you to see things clearly, which thereby allows you to release certain things, allows you to bring, let's say, this period of indecision, this period rather of things having this domination or power over you. It allows you to move forward from it. It allows you to free yourself from it. So I feel this is what is coming to an end. And for some of you, I mean, based on what came through for you, I believe it was last month. Some of you, this is something very, very heavy. This is something that you've struggled immensely to let go of. It is something that has, in some cases haunted you and has been very traumatic for you, very difficult for you, right? So it feels like the universe is, let's say, supporting you immensely in your ability to free yourself from whatever burden you have been carrying. Yep, you have Sword of Light, divine protection, quartz cut, breakthrough energy. I mean, so here's the thing. You have Unbound, releasing, again, soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. And now here you have quartz cut, breakthrough energy. I mean, it's kind of funny that the Unbound literally has this tether around these women's ankles, and here you have like cords cut. Okay, so again, this is what's coming to an end. These things that have had power over you, these things that have, let's say, tethered you to a specific space in your life, a specific way of being, a certain pattern or cycle, and I feel like this is giving you the opportunity to truly experience something different. For some of you, you may have or perhaps will through this month feel some kind of connection or some kind of, I don't even know what to call it, really. You may feel some kind of connection or maybe experience some kind of synchronicity or something around Archangel Michael. Okay, or you may be calling, like you may feel called to connect with Archangel Michael. Maybe you're praying to Archangel Michael. I don't know what it is, but it feels like there's something there that may be very obvious for some of you. You have joy. You delight in the love of life and to bring a spirit of fun to all you do. I feel like what's coming to an end here is whatever it is that's been robbing you of joy. And certainly this may look very different for everyone, but I feel as though this has some kind of connection or some kind of tie to whatever this wound is that you may be freeing yourself from, because I do feel like it is so, let's say, heavy that for some of you, it has robbed you of joy. It has prevented you from truly feeling fulfilled or free or something of that nature. I do feel also that, there's this energy here with the overall that speaks to connecting with truth, connecting what you feel pulled to, called to, that, the surface level things aren't quite enough anymore. And so I do feel like, feeling kind of unfulfilled, or feeling like life isn't, how do I say, the enthusiasm for life isn't there, the fire for life isn't there. I feel like for some of you that is coming to an end. I feel like for some of you, you may actually start to experience things from a like truly joyous place. I'm talking deep satisfaction or deep reverence for life. It feels like um, feeling enthusiastic about life, like just day to day life. Okay. I'm getting a lot of fear coming up because I feel like whatever this is for you, um, I feel like it does, how do I say, it does have certain qualities to it. When I feel into it, it does have certain qualities into it that there's, for some of you, I don't know what this is, Cancer, and I think I mentioned this last month for you. But I feel like there's something in your experience where you are carrying some kind of guilt or shame. And I feel like how do I say this? It's something where, for whatever reason, okay, and I'm not invalidating that. I just want to make that very clear. But for whatever reason, there's something here where you may feel guilty, or you may feel some kind of shame around being joyous. Like you don't deserve it, or you shouldn't be, or something. And this may have something to do with this thing that has been kind of, you know, uh, having this power over you, that this wound. Okay. Maybe you feel like you shouldn't be happy. Maybe you feel like you don't deserve joy, or you don't deserve to, you know, be kind of free, let's say, or you don't deserve to move on, or you shouldn't, or you feel guilty about having a good time, or, loving life, or something. And I feel like this is trying to be, I feel like what's happening here is God, source, universe, however you want to word it, or whatever resonates with you, is attempting to help you to close this chapter of your life, because you do deserve joy. You do deserve to delight in the love of life. Okay. All right, so you have spontaneity here as well. You move beyond the constraints of the mind and freely and lovingly embrace new situations. So like I said, right, what's coming to an end here is whatever it is that's had this kind of domination or power over you, that has prevented you from, taking that leap. Right? Whatever it is that has prevented you from moving beyond the binds, the limitations, the constraints of what you have been carrying, has been dominating over your mind, or has been dominating over your life. Okay, so I feel as though, it's very interesting how this is playing out, because it's not that spontaneity is coming to an end. It's that the constraints, the inability to freely and lovingly take leaps and let yourself experience other things, that is what I feel is coming to an end. So then what is beginning, or excuse me, what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for you, Cancer? You have get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives connect with nature. Yeah, so it's very fascinating to me, because the Magician in the reverse can be this energy of, like we were speaking on, illusions, being out of touch with reality, or being ungrounded. And here, what is beginning for you, being rebirthed or renewed for you, is getting grounded. Okay. I do feel like for some of you, you may be coming to this realization that you are empathic, that you are highly sensitive. Don't get me wrong. We all have these capabilities. we all have this, let's say, organ, if you will, within us that allows us to, be empathetic, that allows us to be sensitive to energy and other things, our intuition. But oftentimes we grow up and we're programmed to disconnect from that, or to explain it as something else. And here I feel like, what is being, let's say, renewed within you or rebirthed within you is the fact that you are indeed empathic, that you are indeed highly sensitive, and that these things do affect you, right? That this is, and to be quite honest, this is part of where your magic comes from. Cancer, here's the thing. Part of why I feel some of you are so kind, so nurturing, so supportive, so compassionate is because you do have the ability to feel that. Right? To feel the pain of others. To bear witness to their truth, even if they're not speaking it to you. And for some of you, this is part of your purpose, your calling, your path. Okay. So I feel as though, this is being stirred within you. This is making itself known, let's say. And I feel like there is this energy of grounding you into that. Notice how the Magician is in a very similar position as the woman on this grounded card, though the opposite. Okay, so I feel as though this month is literally like turning things around for you in that way, should you choose to allow it to be so. For some of you, I also feel like there is this, how do I say this, calling for you to take on practices that may help you to get more grounded. Okay, to deal with your highly sensitive nature. And that may be something like meditation or yoga. You do have the Ace of Cups here. So new spirituality, I feel, is coming in, or new understandings, new feelings, new intuitive hits, as it were. I feel like your intuition is opening up, and I feel like there's tons of potential here for you to develop that intuition, to develop your intuition, to develop your spirituality, and to explore them both. Again, like I said, there's so much potential I feel like is available here for you, especially in regards to a new beginning. You have the Magician, the Fool, both cards of new beginnings, right? And now you also have this Ace of Cups, which I feel, again, is opening you up or beginning this new understanding of spirituality and new appreciation. Ooh, I'm getting ear ringing as well. A new appreciation for how, let's call it, your magic works within you. You do have the Nine of Pentacles, spiritual and material abundance. So, again, it's like if you open your heart up, okay? If you open your heart up, I feel like, there is this renewal taking place where I feel like you develop new feelings, new understandings of that spiritual and material abundance, right? It's not about, we've talked a lot about kind of that materialistic hold, if you will. It's not necessarily about just casting it out and, okay, though, whatever works for you, of course, whatever floats your boat, do that. But, it's not just about like selling your house and living in a van. If that's what you want to do, fine, but that's not what it's about, right? It's about embracing all of these aspects of yourself and finding a way to integrate both things into your experience. And I feel as though, what is being rebirthed, renewed, or is beginning for you is the ability to bring this new understanding of spirituality, bring your intuition, bring all of this, your new feelings, right? Perhaps even opening up to the emotional force within you and how that can be let's say, an asset. Bringing that forth and allowing allowing yourself to create this spiritual and material abundance. Okay, because I mean, it is so fascinating because you have this cups energy with the pentacles, and the cups energy can often be connected to spirituality and intuition. And the pentacles, of course, is earth, or the physical. And here you have get grounded, where it's talking about, highly sensitives and empathy, but also that connection to earth or the physical, right? So I feel like it's like bringing balance to both of these areas. And I feel like this is what is being offered up to you, or what is, trying to be reborn through you, is this balance. I do want to just read what it says here, the keywords for the light seer or upright position of the Knight of Pentacles. I just feel like, okay. Yeah. So this is really interesting. The Nine of Pentacles, according to the author here, has listed some words to characterize or categorize the Nine of Pentacles. And one of the things it says here is inner peace, contentment, right? And I feel as though, with the the Ace of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and here the get grounded energy, and we're looking at what is being rebirthed, renewed, or what is beginning, right? And it's talking about connecting with nature. And if you look, this being on this card is at peace, certainly. This is like opening up your heart, finding balance. And I feel as though this is what is trying to be renewed within you. Is this, again, balance between what you feel and what you know to be true, both emotionally and spiritually and intuitively, and what is, let's say, your physical world experience. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like the opportunity for you to experience inner peace is what is trying to be renewed for you. But again, like, this requires your participation. Okay, like, it's not just going to happen. You have to be willing. You do have the Eight of Cups here. So here's what's interesting is I feel like this is being, let's say, cultivated for you, or is being organized for you. But like I was saying, it's going to require your participation, which is going to ask you to address some of the things that you've been avoiding, some of the things that you have been fearing. Okay, it's this energy of, like, I feel as though you're going to have a big struggle, or experience a lot of struggle in finding that inner peace, that balance, and opening your heart up, if you do not address whatever this elephant in the room is. And the Eight of Cups, I just want to say this, the Eight of Cups in the upright is disillusionment. It is leaving something behind and walking away from something. And when we look at cups, of course, this is emotions, feelings, relationships. Okay? So there's something, like I said, that I feel you've been holding on to. And there's peace that is trying to be rebirthed through you or within you. But again, it's going to require looking at whatever it is you've been holding on to, whatever it is you've been fearing letting go of. I'm not by any means insinuating that this is going to be easy, because I don't believe it will be. Based on what I've read for you, Cancer, last month and now and previously, I don't think this is going to be easy at all. But if you want to be able to establish inner peace, if you want to obtain that in some sense of the word, this is where the work needs to be done. And this is what is being arranged for you, should you allow it. Mm-hmm. Interesting, right? You have the Eight of Cups here in the reverse, followed by the Nine of Cups in the upright, which this is true joy, emotional stability, satisfaction, like wishes being granted type of energy. And I feel for some of you, you have wished for inner peace. I feel like for some of you, you've prayed for it hard, hard. For some of you, you've shed tears wanting that some semblance of inner peace. And like I was saying, I feel as though this has been orchestrated for you. For some of you, you have asked for this. It may not be showing up the way you thought it would, but you have asked for this. And this is the universe responding to that desire. Okay. For others of you, this is again what is beginning, or what is being renewed for you, or is beginning for you, or is being renewed for you, is this opportunity for inner peace. But again, in order to reach that level of true joy, of true satisfaction, of emotional stability and fulfillment, you have to let go of something. You know what that is for you. You have here as well the divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, and God incidences. So here's the thing. I really truly feel that with this card coming up, this, how do I say, it is quite obvious to me that, again, this is something that you have asked for. That's how this is showing up. I also feel that there have been things that have shown up in your experience, and they may be spread out over time, but there are things in your experience that have alluded to whatever this is for you, that have, been kind of like, this is your sign, this is what needs to happen. If you want this, you've got to do this, and whatever it is. I feel like, how do I say this? I say this with so much love, Cancer. I say this with so much love. But for some of you, you have been you have been unable to let go. It has been quite the challenge for you. And no judgment, okay? We have all experienced our own trauma, our own pain, our own version of, torment. And so I'm not invalidating anything that you have experienced at all. And whatever this may be. Okay, I'm not saying that, however you've managed to cope is wrong. I want to make that very clear. Okay, but I do feel that throughout whatever length of time, you have had likely some kind of, let's say, nudge to say this. If you want to experience peace, if you want to be able to move on, like, this is what you have to do. Or if you want, to experience something different, this is what you have to do. If you want reprieve from this pain that you're carrying, this is what you have to do. And for some of you, you have had a very difficult time allowing yourself to be free from that. Okay. So I feel like this is I just feel like this is, for a lot of you, I feel like this is a manifestation of what you've asked for. Again, not showing up in maybe the way you thought, but a manifestation nonetheless. And I do feel like if this is ringing true for you, if you are resonating with this, I feel like you will continue to see it in some way, shape, or form. You also have ownership. Okay. You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike. I am getting some fear here. And to learn to love them all as lessons. So, like I was saying, and I say this with so much love. Okay? what is what is trying to show up here for you, or trying to begin, trying to be renewed, rebirthed, is going to require you to take ownership for your fears, your feelings, all of it. You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them all as lessons. It is not an easy task, and I will not pretend that it is. Okay, it is very messy. It can be very dark. It can be very confusing, exhausting, draining. It can be a multitude of things. They don't call it dark night of the soul for nothing. But in order to cultivate inner peace, this is how you begin. In order to heal, this is how you begin. And I do feel, I just want to say from my own experience, I do feel like exploring more esoteric spiritual understandings and knowledge has helped me to tremendously, okay, to move through my own trauma, my own pain, my own suffering. Because again, when we're looking at the pain face to face, it's very hard. 1:11:11 on the clock. Okay, this is an opportunity, an awakening, a breakthrough for you, should you allow it. But again, when you are staring the pain in the face, it is very hard to see how it can possibly be something helpful, how it can possibly open the door for potential. It is very hard to get over it when you're staring at it. But once we gain access to new information, that can, if we let it, take us to a new viewpoint. And it can make it easier. I'm not saying it will be easy, but it can make it easier than trying to stare the pain in the face. Okay? Where shall we put this? Right here. All right. The wisdom that will best support your healing, growth, and evolution, Cancer. You do have Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, and Teacher. So here's the thing. I really want to say to you that some of you really are more of, how would I say? Some of you, your purpose, your mission here is definitely connected to the more psychic, mystical avenues, let's say. Okay. But I feel as though more so this message in regards to the wisdom that will best support you is to find a spiritual practice to be devoted to. And I mean that, like, really. Okay. I don't mean like every once in a while you pray. Every once in a while you do some yoga. I mean, like, really, like, make it a spiritual practice. So, maybe you meditate 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, whatever it is, right? Or maybe you do yoga for 10 minutes. Maybe you pray for 10 minutes or something. Maybe you take, 10 minutes out of your day and you explore spirituality, different spiritual practices or knowledge, whatever, you expose yourself to something new. I really feel like that's the wisdom that's going to best support your healing, growth, and evolution. And I do feel like some of these practices or, modalities, let's say, come from areas where there may be, like a guru, a priestess, a mystic, a teacher of that kind, of spiritual nature involved. Okay, so for some of you, maybe that's like Buddha. For others of you, maybe this is Christ, but on an esoteric level. I'm not talking about dogmatic religion, right? But an esoteric level. But I feel like, that devotion is going to, or devotion to a spiritual practice is the wisdom that's going to best support you. And for some of you, I feel like it's going to help you to see beauty in life, or to delight in life, like be able to see beauty in life in ways that you may feel have been robbed, or you've been robbed of. Okay, and I feel like it could help you to create beauty for yourself. Whew, yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know. There may be a lot of women listening to this, but for some reason I said ma'am. So, with the Nine of Swords here, again, I feel like cultivating this spiritual practice could help you to move through the trauma, to move through the anxiety, the hopelessness, the worry, the guilt, the anguish, whatever it is that's kept you up at night, that has created this nightmarish aspect of your experience. And I'm not saying that you feel like you're, again, it does not feel to me that it's like, gosh, I hate my life. I don't feel like that's the case for you, right? It feels more like there's something that you have held on to, which has created this anxiety, this trauma, this guilt, this anguish, this pain within you that you've carried. And for some of you, it has caused nightmares for you, or dealing with it, or trying to deal with it has been nightmarish. It's something that would run circles in your mind over and over, that you feel like you cannot escape. And I feel as though, again, the wisdom to best support you and your evolution, your healing, your growth is to find a spiritual practice in order to help you to address these things from a different perspective, to address these things from, or rather with the aid, if you will, of a spiritual space. I know that, I hope that makes sense, because it feels like trying to just do it on your own. It's like, how do I say this? Because I don't want there to be confusion here. You can do it on your own, but trying to do it on your own from the perspective of staring it in the face, from the very kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. You'll know what I'm talking about. If this is for you, you will know. I feel like trying to do it the way that you've tried I feel like it's not enough, because it's not deep enough. It doesn't make enough sense. It doesn't answer your questions. It doesn't soothe your pain. It's not enough. And so I feel like there's something, or there could be, for you in some kind of spiritual practice that can help you find reprieve, that can help you find answers, that can help you to make it make sense. Again, I don't feel like it's going to be easy, because you're going to have to face the trauma, the anxiety, the worry, the anguish, the guilt. You're going to have to face it. And it's not easy, but it's possible. Should you allow it? Should you, pursue it? We have here Hathor light codes, light immersion, full system upgrade, and power recall. And I do feel like this is how you call your power back. I mean, a lot of this reading for you has been giving away your power to something else. I mean, truly, whether that be, the wounding that you hold, the pattern that's been repeating, the, ties that you have to a more, let's say, materialistic sense, the fear that you're holding, whatever it is, right? There are things here that have certainly held power over you. And I feel as though, the wisdom that's coming through here is to let you know, like, this is not to torment you. This is not to punish you. This is not to any of that. This is to help you to take your power back. And I want to lovingly say that whatever this is for you, that doesn't mean that you forget it. It doesn't mean that you're okay with it. It doesn't mean that you never think about it again. It just means that you learn how to cope with it in a way that is healthy. You learn to move with it. It doesn't have the same power over you that it did before. Okay? I want to make that clear. In some cases, yeah, there are things that you can just simply move forward from, and it doesn't, it doesn't seem to come back up. But some things it's not the way it goes. You just are able to view it from a different perspective. Yeah, I thought this would be here. That's so funny. I had a feeling that this was going to show up as I was reading this card. Was this card? No, or the ownership. Anyway, I had a feeling this was going to show up anyhow. Oh, it was the Divine Matrix. That's when I thought. But anyhow, we have a crown chakra upgrade yet again. Did you not have that energy already? Maybe not. For some reason, I thought you did. Anyhow, divine connection, holy experiences, miraculous energy. And here's the thing, right? Like I was saying, I feel like you have been shown. Okay? I feel like you've been shown this divine connection. For some of you, you may have found yourself backing away from spirituality because there's been this disconnection from God. Maybe you felt forgotten by God. Maybe you felt, punished, or I don't know, something. But I feel like the wisdom here for you is that divine connection is there. And there, like I said, if you look, there probably have been times where you have been encouraged or nudged to do certain things in order to help to move forward, in order to help yourself move forward. And that has been, I feel, God kind of showing up for you, wanting you to be healed. Okay. But I find it incredibly fascinating because whatever one of these cards that I was reading that had me thinking about this card before it came up, it's right now, it's bringing me back to this devotion, right? That divine connection. I feel like it's like it's got to be something bigger than you that can help you to see this from a different perspective and to free yourself from it. It's like, it's this energy of like, you can't do it alone, but it's not that it takes someone else outside of you, but it takes something more, right? And perhaps that's God, Christ within you, and learning about that. Of course, take it as it resonates. But I feel as though, the wisdom here is that you are not alone. There is that divine connection between you and God and Christ. And I feel as though, should you allow yourself to, again, develop this practice, I feel like you could find what you might call miraculous, or a miracle, because I feel like and I'm not saying this is going to happen overnight. I'm not saying it'll happen through the course of the month. I'm not saying that it would I'm not putting any time frame on it whatsoever, but I do feel that, what you once called a nightmare, you could find some reprieve in, and it might feel miraculous. You might feel like, I never thought I would get through that. I never thought I would be able to overcome that. But exploring things from a different avenue and opening yourself up to a different perspective, allowing something bigger than yourself to come in, you may find that that's exactly what you've needed. And I would say that if that is true for you, I would not be surprised at all if you looked back over your life and looked back, after dealing with whatever this is, that you saw that in you, that it became very obvious that was God in your life trying to help you heal from it. I'm just saying. You also have interesting Earth Star activation, anchoring grounded energy, grounded action, Isis energy. It's fascinating to me that you have this get grounded energy, because I certainly feel as though there is this need to like come back into yourself. Okay. And you also have here this power recall, which is interesting because I actually, in one of the readings prior to yours, I can't remember which, this card showed up, I believe, and I was speaking on how for the first time it reminded me of like actual Isis putting the pieces of Osiris back together. And I feel as though this is showing up here again, right? Because I feel like that power recall and this Isis energy is like putting the pieces of yourself back together. Calling them back. Okay? And I feel like I feel like the message here is like, this is why this is all unfolding. And I feel like that's the wisdom that's going to best support your healing. Because if you feel like you're being punished, if you feel like, you know, this is just something that you'll never get over, it's like you give up hope, right? But I feel as though this is coming out to say, you know, this is about putting the pieces of yourself back together. This is not to punish you. This is not to make you, you know, feel guilty or shame or whatever it is about whatever it is that you've experienced. This is to put the pieces of you back together. And the only way out of it is through it. That's it. There are no other options. Freedom, yes. Again, like I said, the only way out is through. This is about freeing yourself. You are releasing any self-imposed restrictions or perceived limitations through the loving energy of openness. The only way out is through. The only way to break free from something that causes you so much pain is to deal with it. And it's hard. Again, I know. Maybe not your specific experience, because perhaps I have not yet, or I have not experienced it myself in this lifetime, but I know how difficult it is to let go of things that have caused you tremendous pain. Okay. So, you know, again, I feel like this is saying to you, this is for your own freedom. And yes, to unify you, to again, like I was saying, bring the pieces of yourself back together. You have unity. You understand that the love shared with another is amplified and has a ripple effect across the universe. But I want to say that the big word here for me, or the neon sign, is unity. Okay, because I feel like the key here is the unity within yourself, is bringing these pieces of yourself back together and understanding that, you know, you can do that if you choose to. Now, you don't have to, Cancer. You can choose to, you know, to keep moving forward the way that you have. It is completely up to you. Completely. Okay? But, you know, I feel like there's this acknowledgement here of, you know, if you want to free yourself, if you want to put the pieces of yourself back together, so to speak, then, you know, this is how. This is one of the means by which you may be able to do that. But of course, it's your choice. So Cancer, I mean, you have tons of major arcana here, and I certainly feel as though that's speaking to the opportunity that you have before you to truly transform, to really bring the truths of your soul to the forefront, and to potentially, you know, embody them, to move with them, and to find truth in all that you are and what you experience. So I pray that you are able to do that. And I pray that something here has been helpful for you, or resonated for you, or provided some kind of insight for you towards that end. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else who might need it. So thank you very, very much for that. I pray that you have a month where you are able to find truth, where you are able to acknowledge yourself, where you are able to put the pieces of yourself back together, or at least take a step forward in doing that. Take care of your growing, evolving, beautiful, worthy soul. I'm sending you so, so much love and the biggest of hugs. Take care of yourself. Peace be with you and within you. And I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.